The USF Pro Championship drivers have been rolling through practice and qualifying here today. And again, we'll see the drivers here in the USF Pro 2000 presented by Cooper Tires rolling back out, qualifying for race number 2. Of course, all those races taking place tomorrow. 4 races on the docket tomorrow. 1 this afternoon. USF 2000 will have the front end of their triple header this afternoon. Late this afternoon is the last race of the day. And then, of course, tomorrow we'll see 2 races for USF Pro 2000, the pro drivers rolling out. And then we'll follow that up with a couple more races in USF 2000 as well. Rob Howden here, folks, the voice of this USF Pro Championships alongside the iconic voice of Mid-Ohio, Mr. John Phippen. John, this is interesting because back-to-back qualifying sessions. If a driver made a mistake in race number 1, they get a chance to come back and do it again. A number of drivers have said that, I made a little mistake here, or I wasn't able to capitalize there. This is that second opportunity to come out and get it done, but those of you who already have the speed, they're ready to try to replicate, right? They know they've got the pace, they just got to go back out and do it again. Of course, one of those is Michael D'Orlando. Loves this racetrack. He's won here before. P1 in qualifying for race 1.
Exactly right. And right behind him, Kiko Porto. So, a pair of former champions right there at the top of the order. Joel Grandforce, Salvador de Alba, and Bijoy Garg are your top 5 from this morning's qualifying session. But those times don't matter for this session. We're starting with a clean sheet of paper. Everybody learned something in the earlier session. The sun is out for a brief period here, warming up this track. I remember that the track temperature was in the high 70s when they were out this morning. It's 94.5 right now, so that's going to be a very different challenge.
Yeah, coming up for sure on the temperature. Again, we saw a couple drivers struggle a bit early there. Even Sooner Worthy being one. He rolled out at the start of qualifying for race number 1, and a driver, as they came over turn number 8 through the Madness section, had checked up to try to get a gap. You're blind coming over the corner. You even, of course, crested the corner, rolled back on the power, and all of a sudden the car was there. He had to jump on the brakes. He went off there. And then you think, what does that do to the mindset for a driver who almost runs into the back of somebody, gets it rolling again, and then a couple laps later he overcooked that corner and went off. And it really did mess things up for him. He was P5, I think, at the time.
Yep.
And then, of course, the red flag comes out for his incident. He loses his fast lap. Because of that, he ends up falling down the order just outside the top 10. But the drivers from Exclusive Autosport, you've been included, know they have the pace to potentially lock out the front row.
Exactly right. This is our final qualifying session for the day. We go into practice mode for the Indy next, as it will.
There it is.
Yeah. And then the Indy cars will be out for their first practice session. And then Rob will be back with us at the end of the day for our first of 3 races for the USF 2000 drivers.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing those drivers get out to go racing for the first time. We do have a little bit of a Q&A over on the Cooper's Tire stage. We're going to be talking to the USF Pro 2000 drivers from Exclusive Autosport. That's at 2:45. As I had said before as well, we have our autograph sessions lining up for tomorrow. So we'll be able to get a chance, if you want to come and meet all of our drivers, you can do so. Our autograph sessions for tomorrow, USF 2000 at 1:30, USF Pro at 2 o'clock. Those happening in the fan zone in the Midway, exactly the same location as the IndyCar autograph sessions. If you want to come and meet the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series, we'll be doing that tomorrow. But again, a 30-minute window for the drivers here qualifying for race 2 of the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. 30-minute time window, John, but a max of 20 minutes of green flag running. If we go green to checker, it's a short 20-minute run. Essentially putting the pressure on these guys. Get it done. Get it in there. And indeed, if we're able to get it done quickly, we'll throw that checker. We'll find out which driver is going to start on the pole for race number 2.
Looking at the times turned in the earlier session, Michael D'Orlando's pole for the first race of the weekend, a 1:17.4897. So mid-117s is where they're going to be shooting for, and we're still maybe 3 seconds off of that right now as Liam Zindelli goes to the top. First driver under a minute 20, a 1:19.6. So we're a couple seconds off of ultimate pace here.
Yeah, it's still a while to get these tires up to temperature, and I wouldn't be surprised to me if most of the drivers were on the tires they potentially finished the session with before. Remember, 2 races, 4 sets of tires for these guys, so they've got tires to use. I'm sure there's fresh rubber sitting down there on pit lane getting set to go. It's a matter of time of when. And I talked to one of the drivers earlier today from USF 2000, and he thought that maybe they went too early going to the fresh tires because as the cars got lighter and lighter, guys that went later maybe were a bit faster at the end. But I had to remind him, what happens if that red flag comes out? You've seen teams that will wait and wait and wait, and they go to the fresh rubber, and then a yellow comes out, and they never get a chance to optimize those yellows. So that's the balance. Do we go early enough to get a banker lap in or whatever it may be, knowing that the car is not fully light yet, or do you kind of push it off and you never know? And this is a track we've seen before. Drivers can drop a wheel. They're pushing hard. And you can see a red flag come out. So he didn't get it this time. He may get it the next time in terms of the fact that he wasn't the one that got caught out by a yellow.
Go ahead.
That's good. D'Orlando on top, 118.94. He's been there for obviously all the day so far. He was quick throughout the testing sessions yesterday. Bijoy Garg in the fight. Most recent winner, Liram Zendelli from TJ Speed in the number 10. The German now up into the second spot. Salvador De Alba, the Mexican for Exclusive Autosport. He's up to third. Again, super early in this session, 5.5 minutes in. Fast times aren't coming for 10 minutes now anyways.
Sure.
But we'll watch how these guys are dialing it in because they were able to make changes. This could be more of a, hey, this is how our car's going to feel during the start of one of the main events.
Michael D'Orlando, of course, the reigning USF 2000 champion. Interestingly, the season has kind of taken a while to get rolling for him. He got a pole at Sebring in the second race, finished on the podium in the first race at the Indianapolis Road Course, but then broke through with a pole and the win in the first round at Road America. So it feels like his season is finally kind of coming online for him.
I think he's getting more comfortable in the car. Number one, he just had so much bad luck. At Sebring in one of the races, he was running fine and kind of, I know one driver got no wreck in front of him. He's been involved in a lot of stuff that hasn't been his issues, but a couple have been minor mistakes that he's made for himself, pushing hard, trying to physically himself break that run of bad luck. And again, we saw the win at Road America in the opening round, and then he had a little let's say, a miscue in terms of the mindset and got into the leader and starting on the pole position alongside Christian Weir. They ended up making contact, and the race directors have deemed that was his issue, getting contact with the pole sitter, and he would have probably finished top 5 for sure, maybe even won the race, instead finishes last. So there are times where you've got to make sure you don't make that mental mistake. Things can happen on the racetrack that are not of your doing, and you have to get through those. You know that it wasn't you, it just happened, but you have to mentally get through that and just put it behind you. Otherwise, you're going to find it creeping back in so many times.
Exactly right. Yeah, race drivers have to have short memories.
They need to.
If you make a mistake, put it in the background. There's nothing you can do about it. Just wipe the brain and eyes forward.
4 drivers in the pit lane right now. Reese Usajima, Ricardo Escoto, both drivers from J. Howard Driver Development. Here comes Lindsay Brewery in as well for Exclusive Autosport. Jackson Lee for Turn 3 Motorsports, and Liram Zendelli for TJ Speed. So a number of the different teams have got drivers in. We've got 4 laps in. Not surprising now. They went out on those tires we talked about that they wrapped up qualifying with, very likely. Hey, the car felt like this. We're going to make this change. How does it feel now? Yes, tire, the temps are up a little bit on the track, but did the change we make work?
Yes.
Now, come on in. Of course, everything is better with fresh tires. So if the car's sliding around a little bit, we're going to give you fresh boots. You're going to be fine. But really, that was an opportunity to make some adjustments to the car, balance whatever it may be, get a feel for it, jot those notes down, and then put the fresh rubber on. Here is Liram Zendelli right now, a winner from Road America just a couple of weeks ago. John, F3, F2 experience. This guy has probably the most top-level experience of any driver in the paddock right now, and again, that big win for him. Do we see it open the floodgates like we have for so many other young drivers?
Yeah, exactly right. He's getting a fresh set of boots on that one, so we'll see what kind of time he turns in. Right now, he is 9th quick, 1:18.907. Quickest time so far is Salvador De Alba, a 1:18.4. But again, we're about a full second off the ultimate fast times. The other thing about this track, it has its secrets, if you will, for the drivers, but also for the teams. As the weather changes, this track changes dramatically. Any of the IndyCar teams will tell you this track will be very different from hour 1 to hour 2 of a given session. And the sun coming in and out of the clouds, the track temperature going up and down. The teams that have experience here and have a good record book, if you will, of setups are going to be at an advantage. And teams that are new to this series, like TJ Speed, taking nothing away from Tim Neff and his crew, they're top shelf guys, but they have to chase the track a little bit, I'm sure, and get their setups into their logbook, if you will.
Yeah, for the benefit of those who are tuning in here on the USF Pro Championships TV, whether it's on the app or through the YouTube channel, that's something you and I haven't touched on yet for our coverage for the program, is the fact that you said this track changes a lot with weather. I think unilaterally in the paddock, people will tell you the most of any track probably in the country.
Yes.
That this track, whatever it may be, the asphalt, whatever it is, the topography of it, it changes so unbelievably. Where a car, in the morning, you were absolutely perfect.
On rails.
2 hours later, undrivable.
You're junk. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I'm sure drivers come in and talk to their teams, and the teams say, "What are you talking about? This car was perfect 2 hours ago. What's the matter?"
And so there's the value of that logbook, right? It's the wind, it's the humidity, it's the track temp, whatever it may be. Who's on before you as well? Wait till the IndyCar guys get on the racetrack. It's going to change for our drivers this afternoon in USF 2000 once IndyCar's been able to roll out and put some rubber down as well. So things change so much for the drivers here in this ladder system that leads to the NTT IndyCar Series. And again, the track changing, it's those drivers and teams who have been here before. Fresh rubber, John, on for so many drivers. Kiko Porto into pit lane with the fastest lap so far, a 1:18.191. A number of drivers in pit lane, but the work is getting done, and they are rolling back out en masse.
Jay Stenmark, second quick. Salvador D'Alba, third. Michael Orlando, who is quickest this morning, currently fourth fastest. Times are getting down. We're in the low 18s now. Porto's time, a 1:18.19. So we're within about 3/4 of a second of the pace that we saw this morning. So we'll see.
Next couple of laps will be all about bringing these Cooper tires up to temperature in the way that they want. Obviously, you don't just go out and pound laps. You can't just go hammer down and just roll it into turn number 4. Otherwise, you'll burn the fronts off. It's about bringing the tires up to temperature, balance, taking care of rolling on the power. There's a little there, into the inside there for the number 7 of Bijoy Garg. Kind of got a little bit mid-corner oversteer. Had to kind of grab it a bit, get some wheel in it. So these drivers are going to take care of these tires, watch them come up to temperature, and again, we keep saying this, fuel will get less and less, lighter and lighter. 8.5 minutes to go. If you time it right, tire pressure's perfect, tire temp's perfect, fuel load's down, driver's got a gap. Remember, they've had to get that gap so you're not getting checked up. And then when everything is perfect, the driver has to hit every entry, every apex, and every exit.
Yeah, make no mistakes, basically.
What is your theoretical best? What is your optimal lap? You better be able to hit that, right? Because look at this right now. Optimal lap, a 1:18.11 for Porto. He's at a 1:18.19 in that first stanza. So that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty good stuff.
To be that close to the best lap you can by logging together all the segment times.
Yeah, exactly right.
D'Alba was the quickest and still is the quickest in the opening segment, 33.8 seconds. Lucas St. Jean behind him. Denmark now goes to the top there. But again, remember, that was on used tires. Fresh tires now. They'll be able to really dive in and really work some of these corners.
Bijoy Garg and Lucas St. Jean still in the pits. Everybody else is out on track right now.
One of the things these young drivers work through, folks, and so many of them have coaches that will work on this. It's not so much, having to attack a corner, because these guys have been so many of them racing karts since they're 6, 7, 8, 9 years of age. They know how to attack a corner. They know, the entry, the apex, the exit. A lot of it's about braking, especially as you go up the order. The brakes get more and more aggressive. You have the more downforce, more tires. It's all about that initial hard brake hit, and then trailing off and eventually getting off that, rolling off the brake so you can get more rolling corner speed, and then trying to hold on that patience before trying to get back to power. Because if you get back to power on one of these cars, it's just going to power the front right through. So it's that balance of being able to really maximize the braking, but then wait and get back onto the power.
You mentioned the difference in braking between the Juniors car and the USF 2000 car. Is there also a difference between the F2000 and the Pro 2000?
Indeed. When we look between the USF 2000 and the USF Pro car, it literally is more of everything, right? The aerodynamic downforce, the wings are a lot bigger, the tires are wider, the brake package is more aggressive. You're also rolling a ton more speed in with 250 horsepower versus 170
more horsepower,
right?
Yeah,
You're literally rolling a lot more horsepower into the corners, a lot more top speed, and there's more mechanical grip as well. So just more of everything, like I like to say. And again, some drivers, it's funny, they'll be good in the USF 2000 car, but when you give them more of everything, a more beastly machine,
right,
they can really wield around a lot more. So they're more comfortable driving a car with lots of horsepower.
Yeah, exactly right.
Kiko Porto still on top, 1:18.1. That time remains, as no one has yet put down a time here on the on the new tires. It will come. Porto's 1:18.191. We'll see the lap time start to fall here. About 5.5 minutes remaining. 5.5 to go in this second qualifying run. Again, this is for race number 2, which will take place tomorrow afternoon. A full day of action tomorrow. 4 races in total, 2 USF 2000, 2 in USF Pro. The USF 2000 drivers will cap off the day this afternoon with the first of 3 races for them. And for whoever driver gets that first win, the momentum to start a weekend with a victory is always so crucial, John. This track, as we know, qualifying is key. You start in the front 3, 4 rows, you're going to have a top 10, top 5 finish. But it's about having momentum throughout the entire weekend.
Michael D'Orlando, the first driver into the 17s, almost identical to the time he turned in this morning session. He's at a 17.59. This morning he was at a 17.48, so he's within a tenth of a second of his fast time in the morning session, and he's about a half a second clear of Jace Denmark in second.
And he's not done yet with so much time up. That's his first lap at speed. D'Orlando, Denmark, Porto, De Alba, and Zendelli, the current Fast Five. But those drivers outside the top 2 or 3 have not yet put the big lap in yet, because it's still a 1:18.1 for Porto. He has not yet put the big lap in.
Sundar Murthy also in a position to kind of redeem himself after that mistake in this morning session that cost him his fastest lap.
Yeah.
Now, so far he's been clean and green. He should be able to show his true pace here in this session.
Yeah, Juven's looking for a big mid-season kind of jump forward, right? He struggled a bit over the first half of the season. We know we have this race. We're in the meat of the order, as I said. Road America 2 weeks ago. We're here at Mid-Ohio for a couple of days. Then we head north to Toronto for the street circuit event there in a couple of weeks. Then Coda at the end of August, and then the Portland finale. So there's a long way to go still. And for a driver like Juven Sundar-Murthy, who knows he's got the speed, he's a race winner in USF 2000, just hasn't been able to put it all together here this year. A good second half would be really big for him heading into the offseason.
Michael D'Orlando goes a click faster, a 1:27.52. That's getting a little closer to his time for this morning. Kiko Porto's second quick. We had no drivers under 1:17 about 30 seconds ago. Now we have 6 under 1:18.
Yeah, here they come, and get ready. As I said, 3.5 minutes still to go, so likely maybe 3 more laps still on this one. It depends on when you get by the alternate timing stripe down in Thunder Valley to see whether or not you're going to get that last lap in the books. Remember, that last lap, as long as the Coopers, you haven't abused them too much, the car is going to be even lighter. If you can get it done on the very final circuit, you've put it down. The lighter as the car can be, as long as those tires are still underneath you, you can get a chance to make that big jump. Speaking of jumps, Salvador De Alba in the exclusive Autosport number 91. He will go to second. Behind turn 3 is Michael D'Orlando. Still Porto third, Denmark fourth, Rowe fifth. 4 different teams right now in the top 4. Turn 3, exclusive Autosport, D-Force Racing, and Pabst Racing. That is your front-running quartet right now.
Joel Grandforce, who was third quick this morning, currently down in 6th. The 1:17.889 is his best time. This morning he was at I'll find it, 1:17.56. So he's about 3/10 off his quick time for this morning. Miles Rowe goes to the top.
Yeah, Miles Rowe taking his turn on top. Again, we're going to watch a lot of drivers start to lay down big laps now. Miles Rowe, driver to Brooklyn, New York for Force Indy and Pabst Racing in the number 99. A championship contender last year in USF 2000. Came up just short after what was a chaotic finale weekend in Portland. Finds himself here in the middle of a championship run. He is 48 points ahead of Francesco Pizzi in the points. That is massive. Almost over, essentially, I think over a race and a half in terms of points. 33 points, the most you can get. So he is really into position to essentially manage this championship through to Portland. He can't let his guard down, though, because there are drivers that could go on big-time winning streaks.
That's fast time of the day so far.
Yeah.
He's just a click faster than Michael D'Orlando's time for this morning.
Rowe, D'Orlando, De Alba, Porto, and Garg, the top 5. The 2 D-Force drivers, 4th and 5th right now. Sundar-Murthy, 6th. Denmark, 7th. Grandforce, 8th. Jack William Miller, 9th. And Liram Zendelli rounds out the top 10. Minute and a half to go.
Top 5, less than a tenth of a second.
My goodness.
Make that top 6, less than a tenth of a second.
Unbelievable.
That's just that's unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Jordan Missig into pit lane right now. He's 18th. Again, I don't know what's Jordan's struggling a little bit here right now. He's at 18th. We've seen good pace out of him throughout the year. Quick Kiko Porto now up into the 13th spot. Here comes Jace Denmark as well. Denmark currently in the 6th spot. That means he'll be done because we're a minute to go. There's no way you're coming in and doing anything into the car and getting back out right now, I think, and getting anything done. So very likely those drivers will be done. It's Rowe, D'Orlando, Porto, De Alba, and Sundar-Murthy. And here comes Bijoy Garg again. Back to P4. Just over a half a minute still to go. 43 seconds still to go. Make that 35 now. So drivers will work their way back around to the alternate timing stripe. And we'll shut things down. Does Miles Rowe step up and grab a bonus point? He and Michael D'Orlando separated right now by 94 points. D'Orlando needs to keep winning if he wants a chance to get this championship done. Drivers coming across the line now, essentially done. They're going to get this one more lap in. They're sneaking through. Everybody down there in Thunder Valley right now sneaking through, potentially to get one more circuit. De Alba does not go quicker. He's 5th.
D'Orlando, the only driver with 2 poles this season. Miles Rowe would join him if this time will stick.
I think it's 3 right now, right, for D'Orlando. He's got 3 poles, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, if you count this morning.
The one this morning, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
So he's 3. Nobody else is anywhere near him. I think everybody else is just 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go. Checker flag for Porto. He's 3rd. For Sundermurthy, he's 6th. Second place in points, Pizzi down in 15th. Ouch. Make that 16th now. Waiting for drivers to come in. Rowe is done. D'Orlando done. Porto's done. Garg and De Alba still out there. Do they have anything right now? Miles Rowe on top of the number 99. There he is right there, your current point leader and pole sitter. De Alba still on the racetrack, we believe. Does he bring it through and potentially jump up? He is back by just 0.06 of a second. It wouldn't take much for De Alba or Gramforce to work their way forward. Finishing things off as the drivers all working their way into pit lane now. Watching the final drivers come across the line. Again, just waiting to see here on live timing. That driver right there, the number 99 of Miles Rowe, provisionally on the pole to cap things off for race number 2 of the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio.
Yep.
Salvador De Alba does not do it. Gets it at 1:18 flat. He was a half a second off. Everybody else across the line. There's Michael D'Orlando. He'll end up P2, so it's a couple of front row starts for Michael D'Orlando. He'll start first in race 1, second in race 2. But Miles Rowe, your point leader. Let's add another bonus point to the top of that one there, folks. Not only is he now 48 points up, make it 49 points up over Francesco Pizzi, who's all the way back in 16th. This is a deal when you're in this position in points. You're not just racing against yourself. You're looking at the guy behind you. As long as I'm beating the guy right behind me in points, I'm in good shape. And right now, again, Miles Rowe, who we have seen grow so much, not only in speed, but in maturity as well. No one questions Miles' aggression. If there's a chance to go for a race win, you 100% know he's going for it if there's an opening. But right now, if he starts thinking big picture, thinking long term to try to win this championship, he is in such a good spot if he shows patience.
And I just cannot remark how closely packed this field is. The top 7 drivers are separated by less than 1/10 of a second.
Man.
I mean, you could not get any closer at the top. I mean, we're talking about, missing an apex by a foot.
That's it.
To put you in 7th rather than on the pole.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
A fraction of a second going on to power coming out of the keyhole. That is it. So Rowe, D'Orlando, Porto, Garg, De Alba, Sundermurthy, and Denmark, top 7 within 1/10 of a second, 0.0991. Lucas St. Jean, the rookie, 8th. Joe Granforce in 9th, and Jack William Miller rounds out the top 10. It's Liram Zendelli in 11th. Risu Shijima in 12th. Christian Weir, 13th. Jackson Lee, 14th. Ricardo Scotto, Francesco Pizzi, Jonathan Brown, Jordan Missig, Nick Montiero, and Lindsey Brewer rounding out the 20 drivers we have in this USF Pro category, brought to you, of course, by Cooper Tires. And again, this is the top rung of what is now the USF Pro Championship, formerly the Road to Indy. These are the drivers right here that are going to graduate from this program up to Indy next in 2024. Watch these drivers. You're going to see them running underneath the NTT IndyCar Series banner in years to come for sure.
Indeed. Rob Howden, thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you once more today for our first race of the weekend coming up at 4:40 as race number 1 for the USF 2000 drivers. We'll kick it off.
Thank you so much, John. For those of you tuning in live here on USF Pro Championship TV, don't go anywhere. We're back this afternoon. USF 2000 Racing looks to be a good one here from Mid-Ohio. From everybody, from Anderson Promotions and Cooper Tires, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.